Hi everybody, it's Dr. Bongi here again. Hope you've been well. It is spring going into summer, and I'm getting a few questions on which sunscreen to buy, what SPF to get, and I've been responding individually, but I've actually just decided to put all the questions together and do this video. Hopefully all your answers are all your questions are answered, and if there's a question that I haven't responded to, or there's a question that you want to ask, feel free to ask. The first question, there's a few questions, so it will be a longish video than normal, from sunscreen and tanning, dark skin people and sunscreen, sunscreen on a cloudy day, vitamin D, and how much, when and how, and sunscreens and sunblocks. Okay, we'll start with the first one. I hear about sunscreen and sunblock. Is it the same thing or are they different? Okay, so generally there is a difference. Sunscreens actually filter the UVB rays. So a sunscreen actually uses chemical filters. They're made of chemical filters, and they're actually absorbed in the skin. Normally the texture is quite light and they're easy to apply, but they are absorbed in the skin, and the UVB rays actually, when they hit your skin, they are then absorbed by these chemical filters. Sunblocks, on the other hand, are what we call mineral or physical sun blockers, and they are not absorbed in the skin. For this reason, people with sensitive skin can use sunblock more sort of safely. And these sunblocks, they actually reflect, or the light bounces off of your skin, so it actually forms a shield on your skin. You can normally see them, and the most common one is zinc oxide, but we also have a lot of titanium dioxide, and they're actually heavier, and the zinc, you know, will actually make you a little can make you gray or ashy. But now they do make better ones that don't give you that ashy whiteness, especially on dark skin. And there is a difference actually in how they function as well. So sunscreens, the chemical filters, they filter more UVB rays, and sunblocks are more UVA rays. Your sunscreen needs to be a broad spectrum sunscreen, that it must offer you broad spectrum sun protection, so UVA and UVB protection, because the two rays act at different levels and in different ways. The UVB rays, if you think B for burning, so it acts more superficially, and it's the one that causes sunburns and also skin cancers. And the UVA rays actually penetrate deeper into the skin, and they can cause long-term damage. You know, you think aging, but also put into consciousness that they cause free radicals, which are damaging to the skin. They can also suppress your immune system. They can act on your melanocytes to form the melanoma, that skin cancer. Okay, the next question is, how much sun protection should I apply and why? That is a bit multi-pronged or two-pronged, that question. I see. So how much should I apply is the amount, perhaps, and how often do I need to apply, and what SPF should I use? So the sunscreens, the more with your chemical filters, try and apply 30 minutes before going out, because obviously they need time to be absorbed nice into the skin to form that protective layer. And every 2 hours or so, reapply. You have to reapply the sunscreen, because if you're exposed in the sun, then these filters obviously will be used up. You have to reapply to get the same amount of protection. And the sunblocks as well, you have to reapply, but less often than the sunscreens, because like I said, it is not absorbed in the skin, it just sits on top. But they do, after a while, also get there is wear and tear on them as well, so that reapplication is necessary, especially if you're going to be in water. If you can think about it, if something is sitting on top of your skin and you swim, it's going to wash off, so you have to reapply. Also with the chemical filters, if you swim or if you sweat a lot, you have to reapply that much more often. And in terms of SPF, we won't go into the whole technical thing. SPF first stands for sun protective factor. They differ. The common ones that we see SPF 15, SPF 30, SPF 50, and some even claim higher. So the SPF, it's a sun protective factor of your chemical filters, of your chemical filter sunscreen, and it protects against your UVB rays. So if you think 15 SPF, generally that's about 97% of UV protection that you get. SPF 30, so that's 93%, and SPF 30, 97%. SPF 50, you get about 98% protection. One thing to note though is that the higher your SPF factor, the lower the ratio of UVA protection. And as we said before, UVA is the one that penetrates deeper into the skin and can actually also damage your melanocytes and cause the long-term oxidative damage in your skin. So it is good to balance, to get a sunscreen product that is balanced, which is called broad spectrum, which offers you both UVA and UVB protection. And another thing, just a little bit more on the SPF. Some people think that the higher the SPF, the better the sunblock. This is a misconception, because what happens then is that people think they need to reapply less. They expose themselves for longer in the sun, and again that whole ratio of UVA UVB protection. So SPF 30 is quite adequate, and get something with a physical sun blocker as well, so that you get both UVA and UVB protection. There's a question, will I get enough vitamin D if I use sunscreen? Well, you may and you may not. Okay, why do I say that? Generally, the answer is for sure you will, because not a lot of people adhere to the instructions of their sunscreen use. So actually people underuse sunscreen and they are not as protected as they should be. And even if they were using, even if you are using your sunscreen properly and you're following all the instructions, like we said, SPF 15 offers you 93% UVB protection. SPF 50 offers you 98% UV radiation protection. So you still have that 2 to 7% UVB penetrating through. And vitamin D, actually, it's a complex process that we won't go into. But vitamin D is made in your skin with the interaction of your UVB rays with some biochemical products that are sitting in your skin. So you still do get some UVB rays penetrating through the skin to support making your vitamin D. Plus also, if you're eating a healthy diet, you'll probably get vitamin D in your diet. And if you're one who uses supplements, you can also add some supplements if you are concerned. So you weigh your risk versus benefit basically. And we strongly encourage people to use sun protection because of the risk of skin cancer, whereas you can get your daily vitamin D, which is about 600 international units that you need a day, from your diet, from the sun that you get, and from supplements if you're someone who uses supplements as well. Okay, and why do I need to wear sunscreen every day even when it's not sunny? Well, sunny or not sunny, the sun is always there. The rotation is always there. So on a cloudy or overcast day, the sun is still up there, and the UV rays still penetrate through the clouds. Research says about 80% of the UV rays actually penetrate through the clouds. So whether you see the sun or not, whether it is raining or not, the sun rays are still there. And what you must remember as well, people say, oh, I work indoors, I don't need to wear sunscreen. UVA penetrates through the window, so you need sun protection even when you work indoors. Cloudy, not cloudy, raining, not raining, indoors, outdoors, you have to wear your sun protection. Okay, and why do I need to wear sunscreen? Okay, no, we've done that one. As a dark-skinned person, do I need sunscreen? Of course you do. We all burn. True that some people burn quicker than others, hence the SPF factors, that it can prolong your time in the sun without getting burnt. But true, you do get burnt, and the darker you are, actually the more melanocytes you have. And if you are burnt or you get damage to your melanocytes, the damage actually occurs much later or for a more prolonged period, even after you've been out of the sun. So the damage to your cells will continue to occur hours after you've left the sun. So it becomes more dangerous also if you are dark, because you have more melanocytes and as such more risk of your melanocytes getting damaged just because of the sheer number of them. So it is important to wear sunscreen even when you are dark skinned. Okay, and does sunscreen prevent tanning? Well, again, this question is like the vitamin D. Yes and no. You won't tan as much, obviously, if you are using it properly. But again, because you are still getting some UV rays that are penetrating through the skin, 2 to 7% depending on your SPF factor, you will still get the tanning effect. Having said that, you must remember that a tan is still a burn. So it's just degrees of burning, and any burn is bad for your skin. So that burn, that nice color that you get, you must remember that it is oxidative damage to your skin, it is burning to your skin, and in the long term, it will cause aging and at worst, also cancer to the skin. So be careful when you go out into the sun. So yeah, those are our questions for now. If you have more, you can post, you can text, you can call me, you can call the office. We are happy to answer your questions. And but the take home is that look for a broad spectrum sunblock, one that will offer you both UVA and UVB protection. And for a sunblock to claim to have UVA protection, which to claim to have a physical sun blocking effect, just remember that it must have either titanium dioxide or zinc oxide. Those are the approved mineral or physical sun blockers. And remember, the higher the SPF does not necessarily mean the better the sunscreen. SPF 30 is quite adequate. Anything 30 to 50 will offer you almost equal sun protection. And if you are allergic to sunscreen, or you do react to the chemical filters, then try and stay more towards your physical sun blockers. I hope it's been informative and enjoyable. Let me know if you have any more questions. Thank you very much.